get together with the Harwich Conservation Trust. Michael Lack, Director of the Harwich Conservation Trust, is our guest today, so far. Who knows who might drop in. But during the past winter, they had a very interesting talk about whales and the shipping routes and how they affect them. Michael is going to give us a little more update as a result of that talk.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks also to the volunteers and staff at Channel 18. This is a wonderful resource, and we're glad to be on your program. We've had a terrific, very popular winter talk series here at the Community Center, and our most recent talk concerned the Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, which is a stretch of ocean and ocean floor. You see the map on your screen. That area lies just north of the Provincetown and stretches all the way up in that roughly rectangular shape, encompassing quite an extensive area of sea. Well, the research coordinator for the Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, Dr. David Wiley, led a presentation that attracted more than 130 people. He led his presentation about how he and his colleagues, not only from the Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, but from around the world, coordinated and collaborated to tag whales, including the most endangered whale in the world, North Atlantic right whale, which are back in our local waters already. Tag those whales to understand their distribution in the Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary in relation to the traffic, ship traffic, especially these mega cargo ships that run internationally in and out of the port of Boston. And so, because one of the main threats to these whales out there, whether it's humpback or North Atlantic right whale, were collisions, fatalities because of ship strikes. So they mapped the distribution of ships, the distribution of whales, discovered that there certainly was a conflict there. They rerouted international ship traffic, a monumental task, dealing with corporations and governments, even the UN, rerouted the shipping lanes and reduced the potential for ship strikes by more than 80%.
Oh, wonderful.
Phenomenal, just phenomenal. Not only did he talk about that, but he talked about their efforts with fishermen, local fishing community, to adjust fishing gear, gill netting and other commercial fishing gear to reduce risks of entanglement. Or if entanglement happens, hopefully there are built-in weak points within the fishing gear so that it can break free and then the whales aren't wrapped up in this line and netting, which again causes a problem for them and they can die from complications regarding to entanglement. So they're reducing the risks for entanglement there. Fascinating presentation, really capped a great series that included throughout the winter nature's migrations, winter duck identification by Peter Trull, honeybee biology and beekeeping by Kevin Minigorode, Todd Kelly's talk about animal track and sign, and it was just a great series. And now we're getting ready to launch again our live owl program. We can talk about that a little later. Yeah.
And I guess next you want to bring up what's the herring count season coming up?
Coming up, the annual herring count will be our 4th field season with thanks to our volunteers. What is the herring count? Why do we count herring? Well, we work with our partners, including the Association to Preserve Cape Cod, the Harbor Master's Office, the Conservation Commission. There's a nice image of herring right there in the Herring River, their namesake river system, the 2nd largest river system on the Cape. We have right here in Harwich, the Herring River. And there's a group of volunteers getting ready in advance of one field season. These volunteers go out for a minimum of 10 minutes per week, 10 minutes per week, so not a lot. They can do more. But within a certain time frame each week, they go out, they go to the same location as all of their volunteer counting counterparts, And they watch a stretch of water to see if herring pass over that. They keep track of those numbers. Then we tally the data. We transfer it to the Division of Marine Fisheries, and they take that data, compare it to data from past years, as well as data collected by volunteer counters at other runs across the Cape. And then what they can do is establish patterns, population, the sizes of the runs, perhaps then extrapolating population estimates from that, and then we can get a better understanding of the health of the river herring run activity over time, because this species is a keystone species not only in the marine environment, because it is consumed by other marine mammals or other fish species, whether it's recreationally or commercially caught striped bass, bluefish, other species, tuna, but also in the aquatic systems of our estuaries and our ponds. Not only is it important ecologically, but culturally, historically. You know, we have a strong connection to the herring, the herring history in Harwich and across the Cape. We want to bring this species back because it's suffered a precipitous decline. The state has recognized this. It's been a moratorium for the past 6 years on the taking or harassing, touching of herring in these systems. And so we are hopeful that with this volunteer activity, this counting effort, we can work with our partners, including the Cape Cod Commercial Hook Fishermen's Association, to tally this data and hopefully restore this species. We have a kickoff meeting Wednesday, March 7th, 4:30 in the afternoon, here at the Community Center. Anybody who's interested in being involved, come on down. We'd love to have you. It's a great way to get out there and be a part of this effort.
The population of that group has grown, I understand, over the years.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Now we've got, I'd say, more than 50 or 60 volunteers, and they're really dedicated. I mean, we were already hearing from them. When are you going to start? And you know, last year we had this long, drawn-out spring. The run size was lower than years past, which is a little troubling. What are the factors? Well, still trying to sort that out with the data and other observations. This year, it's been a mild winter. So are we going to see herring run a little earlier? I don't know. You know, the water temperature certainly hasn't gotten cold as it has in the recent years past, and that's certainly a factor in terms of the start of their run. So we'll see. Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been going on for 6 years. I know we've been talking about it, but the time frame.
The moratorium by the state has been for 6 years.
Is that right?
The local Harwich herring count has been happening for 3 years. This will be in our 4th field season. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great way to use citizen science to try and make a difference.
And over that period of time, has there been any improvement?
Well, it's interesting. Locally, you know, we had an estimated run size, I think about 19,000 in year 1. It jumped up to 35 or 40,000, bumped back down to somewhere around the 20,000 mark, even less. Last year, I think it was even less. So, you know, not much of a pattern there. A lot of factors involved. There's, you know, unsustainable practices in terms of different fishery issues offshore. There are land use development impacts to spawning areas, spawning ponds. How do we also help in that regard? We help protect land around spawning areas and herring runs so that, you know, they can have those areas to survive and thrive on into the future. You know.
You kind of have a nice segue into your next topic, land.
Oh, that's true, land donation. That's a good point. Yeah, we were very fortunate to receive a land donation from Bill and Judy Shinquin. Now, this is a little different. Many of you have heard us talk about land donations. Natural land, of course, that's what we protect, land in its natural state, in order to protect water supplies, drinking water supplies, coastal waters, our ponds, scenic views, walking trails if the site is compatible with that use, wildlife habitat, of course, and a number of other very important natural resource values. Well, this is a couple whose primary residence is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They had a second home on almost an acre of land on Long Road, and they have been talking to us for several years. And their thought was, you know, we're thinking of maybe not traveling out here as often. We're maybe stay in Wisconsin more of the year. Do you have use for our house and the land, which happens to be next to another half acre of natural land that they donated a few years earlier? Okay, so you could see in the image there, it's a great little house, little ranch set close to the road. So the majority of their property is undeveloped. And again, it's adjacent to another half acre, so it helps create a greater wildlife habitat assemblage. Well, the house happens to be an added benefit to us as well, in a way, although, it's not what we normally, have in terms of land donations. It's become a great asset because now what we are able to do is rent out the home and use the proceeds from the lease to help fund our mission of preserving more land. So it's a great way to diversify our funding support. It's a great way to provide housing in the community. And also, I think it opens the door to other opportunities for families or individuals who have a similar situation, who are thinking of ways to move their house and property along. Certainly, the door is open at Harwich Conservation Trust because we've recognized that we are able to benefit our land-saving work by virtue of this, by virtue of accepting this house. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, we're always trying to think outside the box, and this was another opportunity.
Very good.
Yeah.
And now that's tax-free income from that property?
Oh, no, and that's another thing. I'm sure the town assessor and the selectmen will appreciate that we will be paying full property tax on that house as well. Yes, but again, the rental, the lease revenue will help pay for that property tax, and then above and beyond that, the revenues will help us with our funding our charitable work. So,
okay. So coming into spring, this should be the 1st of March, but Sadie Hawkins Day instead.
Yeah.
So I understand award season is coming up.
Yeah, there's been a number of awards that HCT has been nominated for, or actually our president, Robert Smith, founding trustee and president, has been recognized as an environmental hero by the Cape and Islands chapter of the Red Cross. Yeah, and in an event at the end of March, he will be honored with that award. He has been with the organization for 24 years. We're going to be going into our 25th year in 2013. He was among the core that had the vision and the commitment and the persistence to put forth an idea and an organization to help preserve land that helps protect so many natural resources that really define our quality of life in Harwich and on the Cape. And so I think it's terrific that he was recognized as an environmental hero. Another award that the organization as a whole has been nominated for is an Environmental Protection Agency, New England Office of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Annual Environmental Merit Award. That's a mouthful, huh? It's been nominated by the Town of Harwich Real Estate and Open Space Committee, and the Town Board of Selectmen also endorsed that nomination. So we'll hear if the EPA does indeed select that nomination for an award in the next several weeks. Just around Earth Day, I think, is when they let honorees know if they've been selected. But the nomination itself is really an honor, and it really underscores the great working relationship we have with town committees, town government, in collaborating on preserving priority lands to help protect the different natural resources that we value.
Now, where and when is Mr. Smith receiving this award?
That will be in Hyannis at an annual event. It's called the Heroes Breakfast, put on by the Red Cross. You can go online. If you Google Cape and Islands Red Cross, you can find their homepage and reservation information. I believe it's $30 per person, so if you're a fan of Bob Smith and Harwich Conservation Trust, certainly if you'd like to show up. The catch is it's at 7 a.m. So if you're an early riser, then go ahead. You know, I think the